IBAT is a not-for-profit public charitable trust. Over a period of time, we have grown into a think tank that aims to provide a platform for policymakers, technologists, academicians, and industry leaders. So we get together, and what's the purpose? We debate, we discuss, and we share our views. While doing that, we cover a broad range of topics like contemporary management, technical issues, geopolitical issues, and also economic issues. So for today, I would like to invite Mr. Rajaram Shetty, who is a chartered accountant for the last 4 decades. I would like to invite him here, and we will listen to him and get his views on how this interesting group of 12 people have got together and how we will be using this think tank to share our ideas.
We got here people of eminence who have in their own way built their future. Once Abraham Lincoln said, you can predict your future provided you create it. So these people have created, and their journey of life actually should be visualized by all people, especially younger generation. You are welcome here. Thank you. Thank you, Ananda.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin the proceedings with our first speaker, Commander Dr. Anil Rana. Now, let's talk about the DNA of our next speaker. The D in his DNA, I feel, comes from a combination of discipline and determination that has come from the other D, the defense sector, particularly the Indian Navy. He has served as a commander in the engineering branch of the Indian Navy in various roles with great aplomb. Post his naval service, Dr. Rana, he's an alumnus of IIT and has had tenures in the academic world in the Fiji Islands, Pune, and Jaipur. He eventually took over as the Vice-Chancellor of the Oriental University at Indore. He has had a long list of publications in international as well as national journals, and he has included various chapters in the books of Springer Publications. Currently, he is the director at MIT-Manipal, and I cannot think of a better person who has lived 3 decades of his life in service to the country, in service to the academic world, with discipline, determination, and I'm sure everybody is curious about what this person has to say. His topic today, from armed forces to academics, a journey from choppy seas to intellectual shores. Commander Dr. Rana, please.
Thank you, and good morning to everybody who's present here. You'll have to excuse me for my bad throat today, but I think I can give 10 minutes of uninterrupted talk today. I was thinking that I'm the only one who didn't know what to do on a Sunday morning, and but all of you present here prove me wrong. So let's go through the journey that I have taken from the defense to the academic world. But before I begin, let me just give you a brief introduction that this transition from the forces to the outside world happens in most of in the lives of most of the officers and the men. That is because you will find that many of the officers generally come to the service somewhere in their mid-20s or the early 20s, and they do about 20 years of service. So when they are in mid-40s, they are eligible to quit with pension. Now, many of the transitions that we have seen from the defense to the civil world, as we call it, generally happens in the corporate world. Very few go up the pyramid or want to go up the pyramid to the higher and higher ranks, eventually again getting retired at the age of maybe 60 maximum or somewhere around late 50s. So that's something that is usual, that is routine, that happens. Very few exceptionally join the academic world. So one is here in front of you. And I can give you a similarity between the defense forces and the academic world, for that matter, any other organization if you go in the civil world, and the dissimilarities that exist between the defense and the academic world. Photograph in uniform, because I was very young when he passed away. But my grandfather is here. So this man, he joined the Royal Indian Army, and he was fighting for the British somewhere in Mesopotamia, Iraq now, and was declared dead. He returned 4 years later. And those days, it was very difficult. If you are a widow, your life becomes very difficult. So my granny had to undergo a lot of problems and then had to be remarried to him. My father, for some reason, broke the tradition of joining the army and joined the navy instead. He served in this ill-fated ship INS Kukri, which fought the 71 war and went down. It was hit during the war. There were reasons. It was not well equipped, I would say, to fight the war, but it did. And he went down with the ship. Now, from the experience of what had happened to her husband, my granny never gave up. She said, no, he's going to return one day. Little did she know that sea can be merciless and no one ever returns. Those days, the life on board naval ships were very difficult. There was no automatic controls, everything was manual, engine room was heated, the environment inside can be very humid, hot, and then you had all sorts of noise, stress. It was very difficult to work in a destroyer in those pre-70 or 70 era. However, my life was a little different. I joined the Navy, I was hardly 16. Many of you won't believe this. And the reason why we joined was because the dad went down. We were 3 brothers, I am the youngest. We said, let's join the Navy. Not only as an opportunity to earn something, but also to feel proud about joining the same service as our dad and our ancestors of serving the country. So I joined INS Shivaji Lonavala, did my polytechnic diploma, and then joined a ship called Kadmat. A small ship, but because I was in the engineering department, this was armed to the teeth if you talk about engineering. Alright. So there are gas turbine exhausts, there are diesel engines. This ship had 5 propellers. The new young officers of Navy today don't believe this. But this ship had 5 propellers, 2 electric driven, 1 diesel driven, 2 gas turbine driven. From the weapons point of view, it didn't have much. But otherwise, from the engineering point of view, it also had auxiliary boiler. It had power generation distribution, 3 generators of different kinds. It was fitted with all kinds of engineering equipment, and being a Russian origin ship, there is no space for human beings. So no comfort, no convenience, but ready to fight. Yeah. I was good in studies. So when I was sailing the high seas, I always kept myself abreast with all sorts of developments that were happening. And since my brother elder to me 2 years, he joined like me and made it to an officer rank. I also sat down for the competitive exam and cleared and became an officer, then joined a Russian destroyer, a very modern from that point of view, and very lethal. This is the same ship, 4 gas turbines, equipped with helicopters. Later on in the life, we are also part of the Trishul team or training team. This is a stealth frigate. So, Navy prepares you for what lies ahead. So, the training that you do in the academics or in the during diploma that we had is very tough, physically very, very challenging. but everything has a purpose, or at least comes from some tradition or custom. So all during the training they teach you mind over body, mind over body, mind over body. It can tell you, it will make you realize that your body is capable of doing things unimaginable. So whether you are running cross country, which is kind of a marathon, and you are returning back up the hill, your division mates will run alongside you, tell you not to give up, don't give up, don't give up, you can do it. Your body wants to just stop there and lie down. But your mind will tell you that you have that last stretch, maybe half a kilometer, the most difficult stretch, but you got to do it. And this is for a reason. Once you undergo this kind of training, your body becomes hard, your mind tells you that it can do whatever you feel like. And I realized this. On that ship Kadmat, when we were returning from Sri Lanka, the IPKF operation, I was there for 9 months. It was tough, but the toughest part was when we were returning. We hit cyclone state in the Bay of Bengal. It was very difficult, and when a small ship gets stuck in a cyclone, it can be really, really difficult. I was stuck in that cyclone and I kept watch for 36 hours. Apart from captain and me, I think all of them were almost down. And 36 hours looked like a small time, but to me it looked as if years went by. Every half an hour we were cleaning gas turbine filters. We were sitting with our legs crossed on the sides of the bulkhead so that we can keep ourselves upright. There were huge banging on the steel ship, and when the waves bang, it makes a lot of noise. It goes like this, boom, then it vibrates. It is as if some big machine gun is going on right in front of your ears. But it was there and we kept it, and we knew that the training had prepared us for that eventuality, that particular condition. Had the engines failed, had any one of us given up, the ship wouldn't have survived. In the training, we are prepared for camaraderie, being together, taking pride in the team, looking after each other. If somebody falls back, somebody doesn't keep march, and the whole team gets punished. So you look after each other. If our friend, one of our friend, Avtar Chand, was very poor in drill, if he is poor in drill, we don't leave him or we don't ask him to quit the team. We help him. We see in the evening hours, on the night, we train him so that he can do better. That is how we build camaraderie. And that is what matters a lot when any eventuality happens. There is a lot of pressure, stresses, people shout at your ears, you still have to be focused on your target. And this is another kind of training that helps you when that moment, that last moment arrives, when you have to make a split-second decision. This is from a cockpit of an aircraft which is trying to land on an aircraft carrier. And you can see the runway is very short. If he makes one wrong decision here and there, if he doesn't capture that steel wire through his hook, he has to make a decision to accelerate and fly off again. If he fails to make that decision, he is ditched. This is calm sea. This happens in the rough sea. Trying to land a chopper when the ship is moving and rolling. And you have to match that rolling angle at the same time, ensuring that your blades don't touch anywhere. Otherwise you're gone. And will the ship gone too. And you can see the amount of teamwork. There are 2 ground crew just ready to give the signal to the pilot to land on the deck so that they can run and tie. Vikrant, one of the Admiral Debras, when he was a young officer, his engine failed. When he took off right in front of the ship, he went down into the sea. The ship was sailing over. If he ejects, he will hit the ship hull and die. At that moment, that officer had so much calm that he could count the exact speed, he could count the exact seconds that it would take for the ship to cross over, and then he ejected. It was that last moment which saved his life. Had he panicked, he wouldn't have survived. Training is tough. You are made to feel part of the group. We look after each other. When the soldier dies or lays down his arm, he doesn't lays down his life, he doesn't die for the country. He dies for his unit. Paltan ki ijjat, they say in the army. In the navy, it is the ship ki ijjat. This Captain Mullah and his kukri, again my father's ship, went down with the ship, not because he died for his country. he died for the people or the crew who could not come out. INS Sindhuratna, 2 young officers, this submarine had caught fire. What you see on this green cylindrical things are torpedoes. People doing yoga, but this submarine caught fire during his training. 2 officers went to save and evacuated at least 10 to 12 his crew, and then they shut it from inside so that the rest of the submarine could be saved and the smoke wouldn't go, because it is submarines locked inside. Smoke cannot escape. Anyway, so when you come to the academics, you have the same kind of interest areas. It is there. Ability to inspire young engineers or the young students. When you talk to them, will they listen to you? Do they listen to you? Can you inspire them? Can you encourage them? Can you make them interested in something they feel very disinterested about? I think that is something a training has taught us already. When you are talking to cadets, it is a similar kind of a thing. The cadet has been punished the whole evening, in the night. He comes, sits in the morning in the classroom. He's half asleep. How do you make him interested in the class? Is something similar that we need to exercise in the classrooms also. Pretty interesting to me. Good communication like skills, again, capture students' state of mind. Very important. Communication skills also verbal, non-verbal, to understand their body language and see whether they are interested or not. This generation, the new generation, they have very little attention span. For a moment, if you deviate from the topic or things become boring, they will immediately switch off, even though they are staring at you, looking at you. That can happen. How do you keep them interested? How do you read their body language? Very, very important. Of course, academics requires intelligence and intellect. Without this, you cannot do your PhD, you cannot do your PG, and that therefore, this is for somebody who is interested in the job. I was pretty good at engineering subjects in the Naval College. I was good in diploma, so I consider myself very fortunate that the Navy invested so much in me, allowing me to go to IIT Delhi for my PG, for my MTech, and then later allowing me to undergo the PhD from IIT Mumbai. And I can thank the defense services for this. They really give you opportunity if they feel or if they see good value in you and opportunities that you can make good. Research competence is again something required in the academics. Without this, again, you cannot survive in the academic world. But this is something most of the defense services, defense officers would like, because you always like to try new things, explore new areas. So if you are interested in a particular subject, a particular area, be it management or be it something specific about engineering, I think this is one thing that makes a very good attraction for naval officers. Ability to adapt quickly, this is something required for the forces, not so much required maybe in the academic world. Swift responses, again, not very essential. Here you can lie low, you can do it aram se, things won't fall on your head. But most important, love for teaching, because all said and done, academics do not give you a lot of money. So all those students who may be looking to join academics, is not about money at all. It's about satisfaction. It's about love for teaching, love for academics, and love for research. My journey from the defense to the academics is something I always cherish. I always look back and I see I have done everything right. Given an opportunity, I wouldn't have done any other way. Thank you so much for listening to me this evening. Bye.
Thank you, dear friends, for watching this episode of iTALK. iTALK is an event that was brought to you by IBAT, the think tank, in association with U-Channel. This edition of iTALK tried to bring in 12 thinkers, doers, and idea generators from diverse fields on a single platform. I hope you will watch and listen to our 11 other speakers too and enjoy it. If you have liked our program, please subscribe to our channel by clicking on subscribe button. Thank you. Have a great day ahead. Thank you, dear friends.